Alright, let's see what kind of mods are popular in Elden Ring these days. Oh, there are plenty of cool come on! Ladies, gentlemen, and tarnished of all ages, when it comes to Elden Ring, this game is an absolute ocean of content. Each drop of water representing another thing to do within it, another task, another piece of equipment, and as such the game can take ages to actually be fully finished by most players. But once you do, you might feel this sense of longing for more, even if seemingly there is nothing else to be had outside of PvP until DLC hits, and of course New Game Plus runs. Well, what about the wonderful world of mods? Modding the game isn't for everyone, and I do understand that, but that's part of what makes all of this worth showing to you. Either as a showcase for some things to try out for those who do like modding the game, or just to show all of you out there who aren't into modding the game exactly what it is capable of, like a window into a really strange alternate dimension with way too many nude skins. That stuff aside, modding can do tons of really cool things to your game, and while later in this video we'll be getting to one of the most incredible things I've ever seen done to Elden Ring so far, I thought we'd start off a bit light with a torrent reskin, specifically to fit the season that has just sort of passed, but I guess winter is still happening and so it still sort of fits the frozen reindeer enemy from Dark Souls 2. If you haven't played Dark Souls 2 even, it's a frozen reindeer. It lights up in a beautiful way and it just looks great. There's lightning that happens when you dash with it. Of course, it's sort of just a natural torrent replacement, as you might expect. It's a four-legged creature of a similar shape, so it doesn't really have any conflicts or clipping issues. It just looks quite nice overall, and I can see this just being a standard part of a playthrough if you wanted it to be. Secondly, let's talk about a really cool weapon mod, the Masterworked Star Scourge Greatswords, and this is just really fun for a weapon overhaul. This takes these Star Scourge Greatswords and gives them a totally unique different moveset, as well as changing the effect of the unique skill on them too. The light attack combo starts with a lunging thrust and ends with a really cool aerial move with a slam at the end. The heavy combo is a forward charge attack, then dragging the weapons along the floor in an awesome way, and then again a sort of jumping slam attack to finish it. The Ash of War is the biggest change here though, as it has been split into two parts properly. At its base, this essentially merges the original skill with the Ash of War Crag Blade. So when you press L2, it does the normal pull enemies in, but also coats your weapons in rocks to increase the damage and poise damage of your attacks. If you hit L2 again, you just do the normal follow-up explosion, but the really cool thing this does is actually tie the explosion to your normal attacks too. When you have the Crag Blade effect on your weapons, every time you finish either a light or heavy attack combo, you'll get that big explosion pop for a ton of damage, and honestly it just looks so incredibly badass. Third up today, how about we take a look at another mount mod, because I do find these quite fun, as they can change the way the game feels from quite a simple yet all-encompassing position, as torrent is an extremely important part of the gameplay experience. This time, well, how about instead if you rode Sarash, the ghostly lion that harnesses Godfrey's emotions. Of course, this one does have one slight noticeable issue, and that, well, Sarash only has half of a body, and he also has a lot of hair, and he's a ghost, and so you sort of just mount within the hair and ride around on the lion equivalent of a unicycle, only prancing around on the forearms, and yet, I actually really love this. It is undeniably silly, but also a really fun bit of replacing textures around to make something quite interesting. After that, then we come to another extremely well done weapon mod, the Storm Demon Lightning Blade, and words are honestly hard to do this justice with compared to actually just watching it for you. The weapon this is attached to is the Wakizashi, and the moveset is completely unrecognizable. This is filled to the brim with custom animations, custom effects, and just absolutely beautiful combos. Both the one-handed and two-handed moveset of the weapon are altered to fill notably different roles, and with the one-handed version being super fast and zippy, as well as the strong attack being just a ranged storm of tiny lightning bolts that is really fun to use and spam, this also comes with a unique change to Quick Step, making it essentially a lightning dodge, pushing you a bit in the direction that you aim it, and then firing a lightning bolt towards your target from range, which is not only super cool, but quite effective too. Then the two-handed moveset with light attacks involves throwing the lightning blade itself at a short range, and sort of dual-wielding with one-handed swinging the dagger itself, and the other hand holding pure lightning looking awesome. While the strong attack combo is a long-range thrust that then calls down lightning from the sky. On top of this mod also includes alterations to another Ash of War, creating Thunderclap and Flash, clearly a reference to Demon Slayer, and well, it absolutely does that reference justice. You press L2, enter a stance, and then a moment later you appear to teleport about 30-40 feet forwards, dealing really decent damage to anything in your path. But this Ash of War has no actual limit to how many times you can press it, and so you can just spam L2 to enter a crazy combo of just flashing back and forth through your target, dealing absolutely insane amounts of damage. And yes, I am fully aware this is not balanced in the slightest, but who cares when it looks this cool? Sometimes mods are about being balanced, adding fun and different ways to play the game without breaking it, but sometimes mods are just to make you feel like a badass, and this one does that incredibly well. Next up then, let's talk about what is honestly pretty much the star of the show, also a full-on remodeling of a large amount of the characters and living creatures in the game to look like Pokemon Scarlet, the player dressed in the school uniform, Torrent being replaced with Koraidon, who is looking quite spiffy I might add, Black Knife Meowscarada, Magma Worm Skeleturge, even Wild Smolives just out in the field with their silly little faces that I love, and just tons of other Pokemon just hanging around the game, with even the walking mausoleums just having a Poke Center on top of them, because they can. This is absolutely hilarious the whole way up, and before you get your hopes up too high, it isn't playable to us at the moment. This is totally private project made by the person who created it, and I doubt that any of us will ever get to actually take part in this masterpiece, honestly, but there is no chance in the slightest that I wasn't going to show it to you all, because it's just incredible from the ground up. First shot we see the player, the outfit is pretty good, but the Koraidon Torrent is extremely well done, and while the textures actually look way better than that Pokemon does, even in its own game, and that is something that I can say about every Pokemon that's shown in here. Even Lechonk looks weirdly high definition in a way that I actually love. If you like Pokemon and you like Elden Ring, then this probably does a lot for you. It's just super cool. I wish I could walk around in this world myself, but considering Nintendo are as tight as they are with their IP, it would honestly be a bit of a minefield to ever try and make this properly public in any real way, which is a shame considering how much work clearly went into it. That said, it's still just fun to look at. This is someone's absolute passion project, an attempt to merge two games that they care about quite a lot, and it turned out incredibly well. I'm happy that it exists, and I'm happy that I got to enjoy its existence, even if only for a brief time. Then finally, let's have a chat about one more weapon overhaul mod, Godwin Legacy. This takes the simple dismounter weapon and recreates it entirely into a weapon to represent the lore and sheer power of Godwin as we know of him. This results in a really awesome moveset that you can bring around the game with you, mixing up various incantations and Ashes of War into the base moveset, as well as changing the Ash of War on the weapon itself. When you use this weapon in one-handed stance, your weapon takes on the essence of death, essentially. You fire out Black Blade projectiles when you use the Ash of War, your light attack combo also ends with one of these, and your heavy attack combo is a mix of Bloodhound Step and also Death Mist and Dragon Lightning, so, you know, there's a fair bit going on here. Then you switch to the two-handed form, and the weapon becomes this holy beast of faith. The Ash of War fires out waves of holy energy, the light attacks are all glowing and beautiful, and the heavy attacks are essentially an altered endless combo version of the weapon skill on Radagon's hammer. It's just really fun to use in general. Interestingly as well, while all of these things in their base game form do quite a bit of damage, and so you might think this would be just broken as all hell, the numbers that they do when put into this weapon's moveset have actually been reduced quite significantly in an attempt to balance it a decent amount, which is quite nice to see sometimes as well. As a result, this won't just shred through the entire game without effort, but it will make you look absolutely badass the whole time that you're using it. And that'll just about do it for today, everyone. A roundup of some of the more recent, more standout mods for Elden Ring, within my opinion. I hope you've enjoyed this perusal of an interesting side of the community, whether this inspires you to check them out for yourself, or even just if you enjoy seeing the stuff without getting knee-deep into the systems yourself. It's quite the cool realm of existence where the game is a totally different beast than it is otherwise, and there's everything from the most minute mechanical changes to the flashiest, silliest things that you could ever dream of being put in Elden Ring. A true dream world, and the beauty of modding is you get to decide how to build your own dream world, which of these things you wish to include for your own game. Like if you liked the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.